boys and girls. Welcome to Grade 4 Science for Life. I am Dirani Narain, and today we will be learning more about science. So get ready to have lots of fun. Remember to investigate, explore, and ask lots and lots of questions. In our previous lessons, we learned that breathing is inhaling of oxygen and exhaling of carbon dioxide. And air enters the body through the nose and the mouth. The main organ involved in breathing is the lung. Oxygen is exchanged for carbon dioxide in the alveoli. Now we're going to do something that we call guess what. Now here we have an organ. What do you think is the name of the organ that we're holding up? That I'm holding up, sorry. Very good. It's the lung. I have another one here. What do you think the name of this one is? Very good. Excellent. It's the bronchus. Another one. The trachea. Very good. And here, excellent, the nose. Now, which system do you think these organs belong to? Very good, it belongs to the respiratory system. So, our topic today is based on respiration and the respiratory system. By the end of this session, you should be able to define the term respiration, identify the respiratory system and the organs that make up the system, and state the function of each part of the system. Now I want you to observe these organs again, and you're going to name them for me. What is the name of this organ? Good, it's the lung. Do you know what is the function of the lung? Good try. Very good. It helps the oxygen and the carbon dioxide to be exchanged. What is the name of this organ now? Very good. It's the bronchus. The bronchus takes the oxygen into the lung and carries back the carbon dioxide out. The trachea takes the oxygen from the nose to the lung. And here, the nose takes in the air or the oxygen and releases the carbon dioxide. And I have a very tiny one here. Right? Now this here, it is found inside the lung. This here is called the alveoli, and this is where the oxygen is exchanged. Now, before we go into the respiratory system by itself, I would like you to answer these questions. Which gas enters the nose and the mouth? After the gas enters the nose and the mouth, where does it go from there? Which part in the lung are the gases exchanged? And why do we inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide? Respiration is a process where living things release energy from food. This happens in the cells. Respiration usually involves exchange of two gases, and we know these two gases. It's oxygen and carbon dioxide. When we breathe in oxygen, the cells use up the oxygen and release carbon dioxide. Here is a video to help you better understand what is respiration.
The taking in of air rich in oxygen into the body is called inhalation, and giving out of air rich in carbon dioxide is known as exhalation. So, breathing comprises of inhaling and exhaling of gases. We cannot live without breathing. When we take in air, it passes through our nostrils into the nasal cavity. From the nasal cavity, the air passes through the windpipe. The windpipe is also called trachea. The air then reaches two small tubes called bronchi, and then it reaches our lungs. Lungs are present in the chest cavity. This cavity is surrounded by ribs on the sides. A large muscular sheet called diaphragm forms the floor of the chest cavity. The breathing involves the movement of the diaphragm and the rib cage. When the diaphragm goes down, it makes the chest cavity larger. Air enters our body through the nostrils of our nose. Then the air travels through a pipe called windpipe or trachea. The air enters the two branches of the pipe, which are called bronchi. Then finally the air goes to the lungs and inflates the lungs. So, this is inhalation. Similarly, when the diaphragm moves up, the air in the cavity becomes denser. So, they give more pressure on the lungs and the air exits lungs. That is, the air gets out of the body using the same path as before, from the lungs to the bronchi, then windpipe, then the nasal cavity, then the nostrils, and finally out of the body. And this is called exhalation. To reiterate, the taking in of air rich in oxygen into the body is called inhalation. During inhalation, the ribs move up and outwards. The diaphragm moves down. The chest cavity becomes larger and the air rushes into the lungs, inflating the lungs. Similarly, giving out of air rich in carbon dioxide is known as exhalation. During exhalation, the rib moves downwards and inwards. The diaphragm moves up. The chest cavity is reduced and the air rushes out of the lungs, making the lungs smaller.
Here are some questions based on the video. 1. Where does respiration takes place? Where does respiration takes place? 2. Identify two gases involved in respiration. Identify two gases involved in respiration. 3. What is the main organ in the respiratory system? What is the main organ in the respiratory system? Question 4. Air enters the body through the. Air enters the body through the. Question 5. Name the organs that make up the respiratory system. Name the organs that make up the respiratory system. And 6. Define the term respiration. Define the term respiration. In this lesson, we learned that respiration is where living things release energy from food. Respiration takes place in cells. We inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. And oxygen helps to release energy. Now, your task for this lesson. I want you to draw and label the parts of the respiratory system. And here's an example of how I would like it to be done. Goodbye, children. See you next time.